Alrighty guys, as I told you, I was going to start reviewing the motorcycles that we buy, fix, and sell. This is a 2004 Yamaha V-Star 650 Classic with Cobra pipes and a Screaming Eagle kit. And I cleaned it up pretty well, I would say. Seems like a much happier bike, looks a lot more beautiful, the chrome is sticking out. It is a happy motorcycle. It's not 100% perfect, but remember, we only bought it for $1,000. It looked pretty rough when I got it, and I would say now it looks pretty darn good. The tank could use some work, and some of the, paint back here could use some work. So whoever buys it, if they want to, they can go through the panels and repaint it, take the tank, repaint it, whatever they want to do. Today, we're going to take this puppy for a ride and review it. I've ridden a lot of large cruisers and a lot of sport bikes and scooters, and you name it, I've pretty much been on it. So my last larger bike was a 900 when it comes to cruiser platform. So I will say the seating position on this is not my favorite. I think I preferred Kawasaki's seating position for their classic 900 versus the 650. This feels awkward to me for some reason. I'm not quite sure why. It just doesn't. It's almost like I'm sitting too low to the ground. I'm not really a huge fan of sitting this low. I also feel like when I turn, this would be fairly easy to scrape foot pegs on because it's so low. So not quite sure I'm feeling all of that. This would not be a tight turn bike, whereas my 900 I could make some pretty carvy turns on. This is not one of those. This is for classic country cruising roads, stuff like that, not hitting windies. So let's crank this up. I'll shut my helmet because it's going to get very loud when I'm trying to do this video before it gets hot out. So let's have some fun here. Sounds good. Very loud pipes. I close my visor here so you guys will be able to hear me, and hopefully my visor doesn't fog up. First gear. Rolls pretty good. It's not giving me a lot of attitude in the turn. Carves pretty nicely at slow RPM. It's not a super heavy bike, but it does weigh a lot for a 650. I was quite surprised. So the gears are really short until you get up to about third gear. Then the gears start getting longer. If you were a good rider, you wouldn't even use first gear. You would be pulling out 90% of the time in second gear, but because I'm testing this bike, we're going to use all the gears. These were pretty popular bikes. They weren't worth a whole lot of money. A bike like this could sell for around $3,000 in good condition, and beat up condition about $2,200 to $2,500, and in rough condition you're looking at about $1,500 to $1,800. This one's in pretty good condition. All the electronics work, everything works, the horn, all of it works. All the lights, the dash, everything still works. Got 25,000 miles on it. Might look a little rough, but runs great. So this is a bike that would easily get you like $2,300 to $2,500. On a good market, $27,000. It shifts pretty smooth. It's a little clunky. I find if you keep pressure up and then just pull into the next gear and let out the clutch a little slower, it gets a lot smoother. But this is already third gear, and I'm only going 30 miles an hour. And it sounds like the bike's working really hard. There's fourth, now we're getting up to 40, so this bike would struggle at 70 miles an hour to maintain that speed for a long period of time because it's only a 5-speed. So be aware of that. If you're doing a lot of highway cruising, not the bike for you. If you're doing short highway cruises and a lot of in-town stuff, this is the bike for you. It's not bad. It's not horrible. There we go. Position the mirrors a little bit here. But if you were to rack the power hard, the bike doesn't make me feel exhilarating in fourth gear, going 35 already. If I did that on any other bike I had, it'd be like, whoa, it would pull really hard. This bike does not pull really hard because it's a smaller cc bike. It sounds really good, so you're getting all that aggressive noise, but you know, that guy was taking way too long to get through there. So the Screaming Eagle kit does sound good. The custom Cobra pipes, they sound good. But this is third gear. I'm at 35 miles an hour, and it sounds like the bike is working really hard. You know? So there's fourth gear, 40, 45, 50, and then after that, you know, fifth gear is going to take you up to 70, 75. But like I said, bike's going to be working really hard. So we know we're in fourth, third, second. This will be the perfect gear to make this turn in second. Lots of power to pull out in. Make sure I'm not losing any of my stuff out of my pockets here. So we're going to take her down this little windy road at high speed here. This is one of my favorite spots to pull hard. Like I said, it's not a really fast bike, you know what I mean, but it definitely puts down a little bit of power when you need it. You're not going to be racing cars with this bike. It's just going to sound good, look cool. You're going to feel cool because you're on a big bike making a lot of noise. It does look like a big bike. For a 650, it looks like a big bike. You know, thing just makes tons of noise. Let me shift down one gear here. A little too high up there in the gears for the back road cruising. But I mean, you can turn into this corner hard. I just watched my foot plate. Alright, so it's almost scraping at a reasonable turn. I can see how far I have till the foot plate scrapes. Now just so you guys are aware, if you pull on the foot plate, you can see they bend up with you. So if you go into the curb and this doesn't get you, this will actually fold up to keep you from going down. But with crash bars, I find that crash bars actually make you crash more than they help you. So if I lean too far, that crash bar is taking the blunt of it, you know? I don't think people realize that when they put on crash bars. You're actually losing a lot of your turn capabilities to crash bars. People are like, I want to save my legs. I'm like, yeah, well, I want to make a decent emergency turn if I had to too, so I don't normally put crash bars on bikes because to me causes an accident more often than it doesn't. But nah, this bike sounds good, rips, lovely amount of power for just in-town cruising. You're not lane splitting on this bike. You're not taking fast cars. This has got average power, great starter platform, sounds really good. I mean, don't get me wrong, this bike probably was a lot quieter stock, you know, so if it didn't have all these little upgrades and custom flame, you know, this would be a pretty basic bike that would be a lot quieter than this. So let's see what this person's doing here. Kick down into first. Right, wee. So if you had to, you could make some serious turns. God, I hate golf carts, man. Not a fan. But as you can hear, the gears are they're really short. This thing just does not have long gears. I'm not a fan of short gears. I'm just not. So what we're gonna do on this one is try to take off from second gear and see if it's better, because first gear only goes to like 8 miles an hour. All right, so here's second gear. This will be a second gear pullout. You know, that's way better. That's way better. I would have to feel that out a little bit more, but it definitely can take off in second gear without issue. So let's see if we can do a more potent one this time. So back to second. Yeah, I like that. I think bypassing first, not an issue for this bike. Once you get comfortable with the gears, doesn't even struggle to pull out in second. There's a little hesitation off the bat, but not much. So I want to take you guys for a good ride here. So far, everything's working good. Nice little humming bike. Sounds beautiful. There's second gear again. might have actually been third gear. Yeah, because that's 40. Wasn't paying attention to my gears there. There's fifth. Yep, I love riding. First gear. Second gear. Well, there you guys go. I think that was plenty of a ride for you. I'm not going to take it on the highway because we already know it can do highway speeds. As with most 5-speed smaller CC cruisers, they struggle to maintain 70 miles an hour on the highway for any kind of duration of time. Even my 900 didn't like the highway at 70. It just sounded like it was working really hard. You know, when it comes to looking for a bike that's going to do some highway cruising to get you back and forth to work, definitely buy a 6-speed. You know, you're just taxing the engine so hard to ride 70, 75 miles an hour, or 80 like most people do, you know. Be neutral out here. Roll on in. And there you go. It's not, I would say I prefer the Kawasaki 900 or even their 600 version, 650 version to this, but it's not a horrible bike. Runs and rides pretty good. Shifts gears great, you know. It's a decent bike for what it is. You can normally find these for a fairly good price. They're pretty reliable. I know the Royal Stars are garbage. Stay away from the Royal Stars, but the the V Stars aren't too bad. The bigger CC Royals and the bigger CC V Stars have a lot of stator and electrical problems. Seems like the smaller CC versions don't have nearly as many problems. So if you're going to end up buying one of those two models, I would suggest buying a smaller CC bike in the V-Star range, because if you'll notice, a lot of the larger versions just are not happy. They're not happy, you know. So, well guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this helped you. This is definitely a beginner's bike. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's definitely a starter bike. Great platform. You just want to make a little bit of noise, look cool, and look like you're riding a massive bike. Even though it's got a 650 engine, it looks like it's a 1100 engine. You know, they just made this body look classic and big, and it feels big, you know, but it's actually quite pleasant to cruise around on. It's not too bad. So alrighty guys, catch you on the flip. Don't forget, if this helps, drop a subscription. I fix and test a lot of motorcycles, and this is actually my best review so far, was this one. This one is really not slowing down. This one's at like 12,000 views a couple months ago, and it just keeps going. So this bike a lot of people are interested in, but this will be new to the channel. So like I said, if this helped you out, subscribe. I've been riding bikes a long time. It's a perfect form factor for a beginner or somebody that just wants something in-town cruising to make some noise, look cool, and not spend a lot on gas. This is your winner. Alright guys, catch you on the flip. Toodles.
Are you sure this is okay? You're in country, dude. Live a little. Now she's pretty sensitive, so go easy on the throttle, okay? All right.